All right, man. It's your boy Leo G, man, coming back with another episode of the Leo G Show. Podcasting is what I do, man. Here for episode 54. It's going to be the last episode of 2021 as we move into 2022. Man, time is actually just flying by. We're going to get right into the show today, man. I got one of my co-hosts here today, man. I got my man, Derrico, man. What's going on with your brother?
Well, what's going on, Leo G? Just trying to get through 2021. As you stated, it's our last show, so let's get it.
Absolutely, man. We're going to get it, man, and try to dodge this Omarion variant of this COVID. Man, it seems like we've been talking about this COVID forever, man, like for 20 years. But it is what it is, man. The new variant, the Omarion variant, yeah, I said it. The Omarion variant is having its way with us right now, man. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode 54 today, man. So before we get into it, man, we're going to do the fit check, Derrico, man. Oh, so one thing, man, we missing our man Banks, man. He had a family engagement, man. He had to attend, so he couldn't rock with us on the show tonight, man. So shout out to him, and hopefully you'll see him in 2022 as we move forward, man. So shout out to my main man Banks. But as we do as always, man, for everybody that's listening to us on the audio show, we're gonna go ahead and get the fit check out the way because everybody on YouTube can see us, right? Everybody on YouTube can see what we got going on and what we rocking. Kick it over to my man Derrico, which is kind of ironic what he got on, man, based upon some of the show topics that we're gonna talk about tonight. But Derrico, tell everybody what you got on, man.
Hey, I'm repping Kaepernick today. I got on my Colin Kaepernick jersey with my Rise Up pen in front of the other team name, just so anybody want to get it twisted. It's always still going to be them birds, them birds, them birds. I just want to shout out Colin Kaepernick before 2021 got up out of there.
All right, man. Shout out number 7, Colin Kaepernick, man, for real. All right, and I'm gonna let you have that. We're gonna get into it in just a minute, man. We're gonna we're gonna talk about some things, man. So for me, man, shout out to my Footy Mob crew. Shout out to my Footy Mob crew as I wear it and I rock the all black Footy Mob kit. We've done a couple of them, but this is the all black version, the blackout version. As you can see it, I'm not gonna stand up because if I stand up, I might not be able to sit back down. But shout out to Footy Mob. You can kind of see it here, man. Representing, got the Footy Mob crest here. Atlanta area is the logo, man. All black. Also, man, it came. Well, you had the option if you wanted to order the special edition blackout scarf. I was able to get me a blackout scarf as well. And I'll show it for everybody here, man. For everybody that's watching us on YouTube, got the nice blackout Footy Mob scarf, right? You know what I'm saying? You see it, blackout edition. And on the other side here, for all my people, man, we got ATL, and y'all already know what it is. Okay, so y'all see it, y'all know what we do, y'all know how we do it, man. Shout out to Footy Mob. The MLS season is about to crank up there, Cole, man. Really, really soon, coming up here, February. Excited about that, man. So we're gonna roll right into that, man, and rock with the crew. What's up, Derrico?
What's happening?
Not
I don't
much.
know. Somebody was just calling me from Wisconsin. I don't know who that could be. You know, I know it ain't Aaron Rodgers calling me. You know what I'm saying? To see what's going on. Like, what's up?
Man, I don't know. It could be, but I don't know. It could be, man. You know a lot of people, man. You know a lot of people. So moving right on into the show, man, as we move forward, man, because we got a lot to talk about, man. Call me Moneybag Yo, man, because I got time today. We're gonna get into a couple of things. So listen, we do the drink check, right? I'm gonna give it over to you, Derrico, man. What we got going on with the drink check tonight? You drinking tonight, or what you want to feature tonight? You've been on them bourbons pretty heavy. So
Yeah.
you got something that you want to share with the people?
Well, I am drinking tonight. Like anytime we record. So this is what I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking my new favorite bourbon is a Buffalo Trace. It's just smooth and just does it. It's a good pairing with my cigars. But as far as the drink check I want to display today, it's gonna be this Blanton's, this bottle of Blanton's. I ended up getting blessed with a bottle of Blanton's. Shout out to my boy L back in the row. You know who you are. Appreciate you. So he found this for me down south and blessed the brother with it. So I want to display it. And also the reason why I want to display it today, because this is the last show of 2021. And I'm probably going to crack that New Year's Eve to get a couple of sips in that because we want to bring in the new year right.
Okay.
And as always, you know, I got my cold refreshing. So shout out to our guys down in the West End, Wild Heaven. What's up, Nick? I'm trying this. Soul Flare IPA right now, pretty smooth, not bitter. So I like it. Just something to meal out with.
That's what's up, man. Shout out Wild Haven, Heaven, Haven. I don't know if we still got the proper. Is it Heaven or Haven? I don't know, man. But shout out, shout out my man Nick over there, man, doing this thing West End and over there in Avondale, man, putting out some premium beers for you all to check out. The IPAs, man. We was over there yesterday. I picked up a couple as well. But yeah, so for me tonight, man, what I'm gonna feature really quick. And I keep saying that, man. Take you a drink, Derico. Really quickly, I want to feature a couple of things, man. Shout out to you, man, for coming through. For real. You come through when you come through and, every once in a while, man. So we've been looking for stuff. We've been on the hunt, man, looking for this premium stuff, man. So I got two that I'm going to feature tonight, man, before we close this thing out for the last one. So first one I want to feature is Stag Jr., man. This is something that, we've been looking for a minute. Derek, I think he helped them unload the truck. That's how he knew it was coming in. Up his way up there in South Kakalaki. But yeah,
Worship
man,
has its privileges.
man, so we find the Stag Junior. So eventually, man, we'll get on that, man, and we'll get that to taste. And then something else, man, that I definitely been looking for and keeping my eyes peeled for is this Colonel E.H. Taylor, man. This Colonel E.H. Taylor, man, another Buffalo Trace exclusive, man. This is the barrel proof, uncut, and unfiltered edition. And man, you was able to get your hands on it, bro. Appreciate it, man, for the early
Yes,
Christmas gift, man.
sir.
We definitely gonna enjoy it, man. And like I said, we definitely been on that Blanton's for a minute, man. So yeah, I might be with you on New Year's Eve, man. We might take a couple of steps. I said I might open mine up on Christmas Day. I don't know. I don't know about you. I might go ahead and crack one open on New Year's Day for that Blanton's. I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see.
Hey, I'm gonna be around like 18,000 women on Christmas, so I might need to crack that blend
You
or something
might
else.
crank it up. Yeah, you might crack something. Something gonna get cracked on Christmas Day on the 25th, man. So yeah, that's what's up, man. So fit check, drink check, man. We're gonna move right on up into the show, man. So look, man, we're gonna rip the band-aid off tonight, man. We're gonna get into it, man. We gotta talk about these Falcons. Y'all wouldn't let me talk about them on the last episode, man. Both of y'all, you and Banks, was in y'all feelings. But we're not gonna discuss that. We're gonna talk about what happened on yesterday, man, with the Falcons. Like I said, it's kind of ironic you rock the Kaepernick jersey, rocking for Kaepernick, man, but speaking of 49ers, man, they put foot to butt against our Atlanta Falcons yesterday. And this was a game that the Falcons had to have to control their own destiny into going into the playoffs. And I don't care what kind of Falcons fan you are, man, you want to see the team win. You want to see it succeed. I was looking forward to maybe them trying to pull off this win and controlling their own destiny going into the playoffs, but it just didn't happen, man. As they got handed, man, it's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest. 31-10 out there in Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium, Derico.
Ain't gonna let you. Ain't
This
gonna let you
wasn't funny.
cheat. Ain't gonna let you cheat. Young Way Cool. Yeah.
31-13.
Yeah,
31-13. My apologies. 31-13. Yeah, Young Way Cool. Shout out, because we're gonna talk about the bad and the ugly tonight, man. There was no good. Well, I guess we can say Young Way Cool. Shout out to Young Way Cool. I think it was a couple of other plays that we can say that were maybe good. But shout out Young Way Cool, because he always come through the clay. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for his foot, man, I don't know where we'd be this season. So that man been earning his check for real, man. Somebody give him an extension and a bonus. For real, man.
exactly.
Shout out Young Way Cool, man. One of the hardest working cats on that Falcon squad, man. But this was an ugly game, Derico, man. It started out okay because one of the things that happened, man, first quarter, first opening kickoff, man, Falcons kick the ball off, man, and we get a turnover. That's something that rarely happens with the Falcons, man. We never get stuff to bounce our way. We get a turnover on the opening kickoff, get the ball on the 12-yard line. That was wild, Derico, man, because we never see this stuff happen
Never.
with this team, right?
But of course we did the Falcon thing. We did the Falcons thing. We
falconed it. Oh my God. So we get the ball on the 12-yard line, man. We get 4 downs to punch this thing in, man. And we couldn't score. We couldn't get a touchdown in. So shout out to my man, Scordero Patterson, man. I thought he had it in. I thought he got in the end zone, Derico, man. I thought he had scored a touchdown for us, man, for us to take the 7, the initial lead.
You and everybody else that wasn't cheering for Frisco.
So like I don't know what happened with I think the replay officials got this one wrong, or I don't know, because usually when we watch these games, whatever is called on the field, man, it has to be what they call indisputable evidence, I guess, to overturn it. And it was just, in my opinion, I mean, the way it was, the bang bang way it looked, and then the replay, the angle that I saw, man, it looked like the ball that crossed the plane, but we didn't get it. And then we had a couple other opportunities and tries to get it over the line. And this is just typical Falcons nature, just can't get it done. And this is something that's become redundant, man. I don't know, man, how I feel about these red zone woes, and I'll talk about them here in a minute, man. How did you feel when you saw that, man, just go down after we got the turnover? And it was like, man, we got some momentum. Maybe things are gonna fall in our favor today, and we just could not punch it in, man. How did you feel after you saw that?
I mean, like you just said, it's like typical. It's like, so I hate to be conditioned about stuff, but at this point, you just be like, yeah, I'm not surprised. You know, that's always the reaction now. I'm not surprised. Not liking it, but I'm not surprised that they would falcon something that generally don't happen to us in the first place. So in that case, you got to do everything in your power, your might, your will to draw up the four best plays that you got. I mean, you got to, and they just went to bed.
Yeah, they couldn't do it, man, and that was kind of indicative of how the rest of the game went, man. I think we got the ball into the red zone 4 other times, and we couldn't convert. Like you said, man, this is a recurring theme. Different regimes, same, but it's the same song and dance. Like I said, it's become like, a rerun that just won't end for the Atlanta Falcons offense, man. We can move the ball, from 20 to 20, but once we get to the 20, trying to get it in and punch it in, man, it's been a problem. We just allergic to the end zone, I guess. I don't know. But like I said, 31-13, man, Falcons take a big L. One of the main things that I guess I want to talk about here, man, um, is the fact that, man, we got outmatched and we got outplayed. This Derrico was a little embarrassing for me, man. I mean, I'm embarrassed quite a bit with these guys, man. But yesterday, man, it was a whole nother level of embarrassment. Um, we were,
Manhandled.
yeah, that's a PC way of putting it. Yeah, we were manhandled. We were dominated. The San Francisco 49ers basically imposed their will on us yesterday, man. And it almost they made it almost looked like the Falcons tapped out, man. Offensive line, defensive line, man, they just could not get it done, man. We've known that we've been deficient, man, but these guys have shown that they can actually play a little bit. But yesterday, man, they didn't. It's like they didn't show up at all. I want to say by the third quarter, man, I think they had checked out, they had zoned out, man. I mean, the defense came up, I think, with a couple of. They came up with some stops when I think it was kind of too late, but for the most part, for me, what I saw is that they were checked out. The offensive line was just bad. It was bad, man. As a Falcons fan, I've seen a lot of bad line play in my day because I'm a Falcons fan. But yesterday was probably one of the worst games I've seen collectively from the offensive line, period. Everybody had a hand in looking bad yesterday, man. I mean, Jake Matthews getting rocked by Nick Bosa out there. I watched, Hennessy and Jalen Mayfield get off their knees as people just mowed them over. Like literally, man, Matt didn't have probably but a half a second to get rid of the football yesterday, man. It was a total dominant effort by the front seven of San Francisco yesterday, man. There was no bright spots. I don't know how you felt about that, Derek Cole, man, but I was just embarrassed.
I mean, again, it is what it is. I mean, hey man, I mean, how much? My thing is how much more capital you gonna try to invest in trying to fix the offensive line. You don't spend a lot of effort on the defensive line, but by picking up trash off the trash heap. I mean, that's your way of trying to fix the defensive line. But at some point, you just got to come in there with a conscious effort and just say, hey, we're gonna build the front of the offensive line and the front of the defensive line. But I want to start with the defensive line this time. Like I said, we put a lot of capital in the offensive line. We got to go ahead and put some dogs up there in front. Just like you said, Grady can't do it himself, but hey, somebody else got to step up. Who is it going to be? I mean, if the cats that's on the roster right now can't do it, I mean, you got to make some moves. You got to make some major moves in the off season and in the draft. I mean, you just got to focus on building a stout front seven. Period.
Absolutely. I totally agree. This has been, something that they're going to have to find an identity and where they want to be on the defensive side of the ball with the line and the offensive side of the ball. Because it's all going to start in the trenches. We say that, man, and it's so cliche, but if you're not there, if you're not there in the trenches, man, you can't win this game, man. This game has been played for a long time, man, and it all starts up front with those what we like to call those hogs, man. Whether it's on the offensive side or the defensive side of the ball, if you can't protect the quarterback, or if you can't block, or if you can't get after the quarterback, or if you can't, shut down gaps, you can't win. And we can't do either one on one side. I mean, you would think, okay, well, we deficient on one side. We deficient on both sides. How does that happen? Well, I know how it happens. But like you said, I'm in total agreement with you moving forward, man. This is going to have to be something they're going to have to take a hard look at. Is trying to find an identity and what they want. I think for me personally as a fan, and you just kind of alluded to it, Derrico, man, is we don't have anybody, no disrespect to Grady Jarrett, because Grady Jarrett's been the man on our defense, man, but we don't have any real, like, just downright nasty dudes. I mean, go back to Tyson Claiborne and Harvey Dahl days on that offensive line. That's the last I can think of, man. And we just had some real nasty characters on that
Right.
on that offensive line that just didn't care and just mauled people and did what they had to do. They've tried to patchwork this offensive line, man. Shout out to, ironically, we played against our old center. His name just escapes me now, but he plays for San Francisco now. But he played with us when we had our Super Bowl run. I'm sorry,
Mac.
Derrico. Alex Mack, correct, Alex Mack. You know what I'm saying? He was very, very stout and very, very good for us here for several years. But, man, they got to get that together, man. And it was just embarrassing to see them just get dominated the way that they did, man. Me personally, man, I wouldn't. Nobody is safe next year when it comes. Jake Matthews. I mean, even though Chris Lindstrom has been, out of all the suckage, Chris Lindstrom has probably been, the one that has held his position down. But as a former offensive lineman, you play offensive line collectively. Offensive linemen never take credit themselves. It's a we all pride each other, and doing what we do as offensive linemen. That's why you see a lot of times offensive linemen don't talk to the media. They don't do a lot of the stuff you see all the other positions do, because offensive line, like, they kind of bond. And it's like we do this, we ride together and we fall together. So if one person is falling and slipping, we all take the L for it. You know what I'm saying? If we all doing well, we all take the dub for it. And that's how it is, man. So, like, but they're gonna have to figure out the identity and how to get that together moving forward, man, because it's just you can't, and which leads me into the next topic going in, man. Matt Ryan, and we just had a little conversation on text about this, was accosted yesterday. He was accosted. He was beat down. And I saw something on Twitter and I texted out that, Matt Ryan probably had the most heart on everybody on this team. Cause I'm gonna be real. I'm not even gonna lie, Derrico, and I'm gonna kick this over to you. I would have walked off the field on them, man. In the second quarter, man, I would have, after I was getting just beat down like I did. Cause let's be real, Garoppolo didn't touch the ground. His uniform was clean. It was pristine. Like, he could probably play in that uniform again next week. It wasn't a touch of scratch of dirt on it. Matt Ryan looked like he was wrestling hogs yesterday, how much dirt and green he had on his jersey. And, for what it's worth, man, 14 years, man, this dude is a tough guy. Say what you want to say about his play or whatever the case may be, but it's not a lot of people, it's not a lot of quarterbacks in this league that would take the beating that he's taking and still get up and do it play after play. Because let's be real, man, this dude took a beating. He took a beating yesterday, man.
I mean, what I supposed to say with that? Like, you just compare a different front seven from San Francisco to our anemic front seven on the Falcons. I mean, we're used to seeing quarterbacks just do whatever they want to do with us and have their way with us. I mean, we're used to backups, rookies, third stringers. It don't matter because we too invested in shiny ornaments. We don't want to fix the front. We want shiny ornaments. We want to draft wide receivers in the first round, tight ends in the first round, cornerbacks in the first round, offensive guards and tackles who got short arms, have no heart, have no physicality. That's what we want to do. We want finesse players. We want finesse players. We don't want to have a rugged defense. We don't want to have a rugged offense. I mean, like you said, back in the days of Harvey Dahl and Tyson Clabo, that was rugged. They wanted to move somebody off the ball. When our quarterback got hit, they ran over there and made sure they punched somebody in the mouth for doing it. Now, I mean, we just soft. We just soft. And
Hey man,
Matt Ryan from Philly, and I give Matt Ryan all the credit in the world for being a tough dude. Like you said, he's only missed like probably 1 or 2 games in his career because of a damn turf toe, not because he got punched in the mouth, by a defensive end or something, because of turf toe.
and I've seen this man take some shots. Literally, I've seen him take some shots. Cause like I said, I consider myself to be a pretty tough dude, man. But like, literally, man, I would, I made the joke the other day, man. I was like, if I was him, I'd go in the locker room and be like, man, did I cuss out y'all mamas or something? Why am I taking this beating like this, man? Like, at some point, man, you would think as an offensive line, man, they would say, like you said, man, we gotta show up for our quarterback, man. This dude is out here literally standing up, trying to will it, like I said, once again, say what you want to about his ability, but one thing you're not going to question is his toughness and his integrity and his grit when he goes out there on the field. So, with that being said, man, as an offensive line, you gotta be able to. I mean, like, there's nothing that says I don't want to play for this dude because he's doing everything he can. He's doing everything he can. Now there are some guys in the league that you go back and look over, quarterbacks that we had here in Atlanta. Come to mind Jeff George that were just some buttholes. You know what I'm saying? Some real hard guys to play for. But Matt Ryan is not that guy, man. I think he's not that guy. He goes out there and he kind of, he puts it, he wears it. And he tries to go out there and be the best example that he can and lead this team, man. But for him to take a beating like that, man, it's just not fair. So, Derek, I want to move on a little bit here in the show and just talk about this fan base really quickly. Take a drink. Um, with how they have been reacting to all of this, man. And I don't want to beat a dead horse to death. I don't want to go into real detail as to what's been going on, but I just want to touch on a few things about this fan base. And then I want to talk about how you and I, as invested season ticket holders, look forward for this team to move forward and what we're going to do with our stakes in this franchise, man. So first and foremost, I want to talk about this fan base, man. I get up every morning and I listen to the local sports talk radio here in this city. And they try to break down and they analyze what they see. We do have a professional football player on the morning show that I listen to that tries to bring it and break down what he sees from his perspective as a professional NFL player. But a lot of times these fans get caught up in a lot of different crazy things. And I think that this fan base, man, is like really divided, man. I think I don't know, and we've talked about this on podcasts before, but I think that because of the lack of success we had over the last couple of years, I think now it's just everybody's grasping for straws, everybody's tired, and now it's just that we're infighting with one another about what needs to happen and what needs to go on.
You said
So
couple. You said couple of years, like, as in 2 years.
well, okay, last 4 or 5 years, man, we have not had very successful seasons. So let me get that right. Let me make sure I get that right. So there's a bunch of infighting in this fan base, man. It goes to social media. They go on the sports talk radio and call in and I think everybody's tired of losing. And they wanna point the finger and blame something. So Derek, I am gonna give this to you. Fan base divided. Is this just because we're losing that everybody is just so up in arms about what's going on and why we're so divided as to how we get this thing fixed or turned around? Is this just it? We're just tired of losing, so now everybody is just at each other.
I mean, yeah, we're tired of losing, and yes, I mean, winning cures all things that ails fan bases. However, this fan base is at a is at the peak of Mount Everest with festivity, tired, done. Just want to throw in the towel. You say you thought Matt Ryan won. You said you would walk off the field. That's probably how some of these fans feel like they want to walk away from the field of play with the Falcons. Just want to turn their back. Some of them do. Some of them ride or die. Some of them wishy-washy. And then you got some that just be like, whatever. So you got 4 splits. So 25% this, 25% that, another 25%, another 25%. I mean, it is what it is. When you have more infighting with your fans instead of the opposing team, then you know it's come to a point where you just tired and you sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired. I get it. And you did mathematically, you equaled it out to 25, 25, 25. I think it's even more diluted than that if you really want to talk about it, man, because you got a lot of fans out here. You forget, Derek, we kind of old school. We kind of deal with these Madden generation fans now, these younger fans, man, that have a different perspective on the game and how they grew up watching it as opposed to how we did, man. So they have their 2 cents. Sometimes I think they're very delusional in how they look at things and how they want things to be realistically. So I don't get it. One of my biggest things is, and I want you to kind of elaborate on this and tell me how you feel about this, is that some of our fan base, man, just a portion. It's just, I want to disclaimer this because you'll eat me up if I don't say it. It's a small portion of people, a small portion that don't want to see the Falcons be successful, right? They're a fan of this organization, but for whatever reason, for whatever their motivation is like they want to see the Falcons continue to lose. Like, we already know that they're not good. Their lack of talent, they're void of talent. But as a fan, from my perspective, I want to see this team win every time they lace them up. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, if you lace them up, you have a chance. And I want to see them win. I want to get your take on fans not wanting this team to be successful or win. Like, if you're going to watch a game on Sunday and you call yourself a fan of a team, how do you find yourself rooting against your team? And I want to say this too. I don't want to hear about this draft pick thing. Let's get that out the window here. Okay, we got to get a better draft pick because that is a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of malarkey, man. You can't expect for teams, these men that are getting paid to play this game, to go out and lay down. That's not how this works. Okay, for you millennials, this is not how this works. Okay, you can't just hit the reset button on Madden and say, okay, you know what, we're gonna start all over again, because it's not how this works. These guys they have jobs, they have families, they're going out here and they're competing and they're playing. As sorry as the Detroit Lions are, as we want to say, you know what I'm saying, they came up and they went hard against a team yesterday that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Now they got 2 wins on the season. So once again, I throw it over to you, Derek Cole. How do we feel about these fans that want, they say they're fans, but then they want to see this team not win?
I,
Like,
I
does
want,
that even make sense?
hold on. I want to address that last part first. I want to take it to the last part first, and that's about the Detroit, a team that was 1 and probably 11-1.
Don't forget that tie. Throw that tie in there.
I
They had that
said,
tie.
I said 1-11-1, and went out there and beat arguably, supposedly the best team in the NFC yesterday handedly. Not by a field goal, not by a point, not by 2 points. They put a whoop stick on Arizona, and Arizona didn't have an answer. So addressing the situation with heart, gut, grit, all that stuff. I haven't seen our team play like that in a situation where it's against a good team or a team that they're not supposed to beat. I haven't seen that this year. I haven't seen that last year. So I give a shout out to Detroit and his head coach, who I feel still shouldn't be a head coach in the NFL. But it's something that he's saying that relates to his players on yesterday to say, we can go out here and beat Arizona. They didn't lay down. They didn't quit. None of that.
They didn't quit. They didn't
Now,
quit. Now,
yeah,
yeah.
now our fan base wanting our team to lose. I mean, you do have, like you said, a small segment of fans that feel like at this point, what's the use of winning if is not going to amount to anything. I mean, you do have that. I mean, I can't speak for them. I can only assume that their thinking is, hey, play some young guys and see what these young guys can do. At this point, you don't put these veterans in here, and they ain't showing you crap. I mean, at this point, you building for the future. You got 3 games left, if I'm not mistaken. So make the best of these last 3 or 4 games to see what either the people that you've been scared to play P's on defense because you thought they're not ready. I mean, at this point, the season is shot. Play them. It's not going to get no worse. It can only get either equal or better. So the fans that think that they have to cheer for this team to lose, I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Cheering for the team to lose. You can easily say I'm watching this game and hope my team wins. And if they lose, okay. Then you'll be like, okay, they lost. Move on. But nah, not sitting there rooting for them to lose. Nah.
No, absolutely. I don't see no logic in that whatsoever. Because in that scenario, you're not a fan. If you're going to tune in to watch the other team win, that means you're a fan of the other team, right? That's just my logic and the way I see it. But there's a portion of this fan base that feels is like, let's just lay down and let's just finish this season. We're undeserving of whatever because we suck. And let's get the highest draft pick that we possibly can. Like, it doesn't work like that. So for all you millennials that like to hit the reset button on your PS4s or your PS5s and try to rebuild the team the way you want it, doesn't work like that in real life, man. If you're gonna ride with a team, see, we come from a generation where you ride with your team and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I was built. So yes, I'm very unhappy with what's going on with this organization. I'm financially invested. I'm not emotionally invested anymore. I detached that long time ago. But yes, I'm very unhappy with what this organization is doing. I'm very unhappy about the lack of talent with this organization, but I will never turn on the TV or will I ever walk into Mercedes-Benz and hope for this team to lose. So the notion of that, man, y'all can miss me with that. Y'all can come at me at Twitter with that. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to and explain yourselves, but that's, as a fan, man, you should never want to see that, man. And I want to piggyback a little bit with what you just said, Derek. Man, shout out to the Detroit Lions for having something, to play, because they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs at this point. And like you said, man, they came out yesterday and and I think for the, it's quite, we play them here this week coming up in Mercedes-Benz. And I think they're going to give the last 3 games that they have, everybody that they want it, they're going to give them some. And I think that we're going to get it from them. Not saying that we're going to lose, but I'm just saying Detroit is going to come to play. This is not one of those games that you can put a W by. They're going to come to play, and they're going to fight. You got to remember, these guys, some of these guys, man, they won't be with Detroit next year, but they definitely want a job in the NFL. They want to keep their job, right? Some of these guys will be with Detroit next year, and they want to build on what they're doing now moving forward. So they're not going to lay down by no means, man. So however you feel about Detroit, man, or whatever, they're going to come to play. They're going to have their A game ready, and the Falcons better have their A game ready as well. So it is what it is, man. And hopefully, moving forward into the new year, we'll talk about where we stand as a fan base. And Derek, we don't have enough time to talk about how we are invested in season ticket holders, so we have to move that on into 2022 because I need to move forward in the show. So, Derek, this was a topic that you really wanted to talk about, man. But first and foremost, man, before we move into this, I want to surprise you and talk about something that you didn't think I was going to talk about, man. The last episode, we talked about the Valdosta State Blazers going into the Division II National Championship, man, against Ferris State out in Texas. We said, and you said, that this was a chance for the state of Georgia to redeem themselves and get a championship. Derek, I want you to give everybody on the podcast the news as to what happened with Valdosta State going out there to McKinley, Texas, and playing Ferris State for the Division II champ. Number 1 and number 2, tell us what happened.
Ferris State remember what happened in 2018 when we beat them in 2018 for the national championship. And they remember that they held that for 3 years because they didn't play last year. So that means they really held it for 2 years without playing, but 3 years total. And they unleashed an ass whooping on VSU. I mean, an ass whooping. There's no way to say it differently. They put them hands on my Blazers. On my Blazers. They put a 50 burger up on my Blazers. And
Epic.
Yeah,
Epic.
but we still a good team. And then I found out afterwards that our head coach had been interviewing with another team, and as soon as we found out that they lost the game, the next day we found out he was going on to another football team. So that kind of ticked me off. Like, who does that? Like,
Yeah.
your mind should be on this national championship, but you so selfish that you worried about what's going on with your career that you're gonna put these boys on the back burner. But everybody want to bitch and moan about the players. Well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
we'll come back and revisit that for you, Derek. I ain't mean to put you on the spot, but I had to get it out there, man. I had to talk about it a little bit, and I wanted to kind of surprise you because I wanted to get the gut reaction. I ain't want you to prepare for it. I wanted to get the real from you. So yeah, man. So shout out to Valdosta State what they were able to accomplish, man. They got all the way to the Division II championship, man. It just fell short, but they have a couple of championships up under their belt down there in Valdosta, man. So moving forward, this was something that you wanted to talk about, Derek Cole, as we kind of close this show out here. We want to talk about HBCUs because we rarely get to talk about them and what's going on in the world of HBCUs. Shout out to everybody that went to HBCU, man, for real. In my household, of course, my wife, she went to HBCU. My mom went to HBCU. Quite a bit of people in my family went to HBCU. I didn't go to HBCU myself. I went to PWI, but that's a topic for another day. So listen, something very, very, I don't know, historic happened here on last week. And we talked about it and we felt like we had to share this, and we'll talk about what's going on over there with this group. So there's a guy by the name of, if you didn't know, there's a guy by the name of Travis Hunter, 5-star athlete here out of Georgia, Collins Hill High School, one of the best cornerbacks in the nation. Well, he is the best cornerback in the nation. Best cornerback in the nation. I think he was the number 1 or number 2 recruit, period, coming out of this class 2022.
It depends on which poll you looked at. I think ESPN is the only one that had him at number 2. Everybody else had him at number 1.
Everybody else had him at number 1, man. Travis Hunter, man, Collins Hill High School, man, here in the great state of Georgia, where we produce a lot of football players, only second to one other state, because it's a couple of states. I'm gonna go off for a little bit and I'm gonna come back though. It's 2 states, Derrico, that say they put out more football players than us, but per capita they're larger than us, meaning that they have more people. So therefore, yeah, they would be able to put out more football players than this state, obviously, man. And I'm talking about the state of Texas, and I'm talking about the state of Florida. I'm not talking about. I ain't talking about California. They don't count. They don't count. They don't count. They play 8-man football out there. I don't know what they do in California, but so real talk, man. Texas and Florida, man. I think Georgia is only maybe second or third to those 2 states when it comes to producing football players, man. We produce a bunch of football players out of this state. So Travis Hunter, man. Did you want to say anything about the great state of Georgia and the football players that we put out there before I move forward?
We do. And that's probably why Kirby has been recruiting his butt off, because we have so much talent in Georgia. But I do want to also put a pin here. We got some great basketball players that come out of the state of Georgia too.
Absolutely. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that much. We have some great basketball players that come out of this. We just have athletes, period, to come out of this Georgia red clay here, man. Whether it's South Georgia, North Georgia, Metro Atlanta area, man, East or West, we got some athletes here, man. It's if you compete at any level at any sport here in the state of Georgia, you already know what it is, man. From Pop Warner, from the youth leagues to AAU, all the way up to high school, and even colleges that compete against each other in this state, man. We got some great athletes here, man. So we kind of built different in this state. So I will give, our next door neighbor, Florida, they kind of are built from the same cloth that we are down there in Florida as well. When it comes to competition, man, it's what we do, man. It's what we do. So yeah, going back to this young man, Travis Hunter, man, 5-star. We'll say he was the number 1 recruit. He was committed to go to Florida State. You were very familiar with him, Derek Cole, as you know. Florida State is a team that you follow and a team that you hold near and dear. He was committed to Florida State, but all of a sudden on signing day, Travis Hunter does something that was pretty historic. He decided that he was going to take his talents over to Jackson, Mississippi, to an HBCU. As we all know that Deion Sanders is the head coach out there, took over that program. I want to say a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't know. I get in this time warp with COVID, man, in 2020, man. So it got me all messed up.
Yeah, 2 years.
It's 2 years. So he's been there for 2 years, man, at Jackson State, man. So Deion Sanders pulls the number 1 player in the nation to come to Jackson State, HBCU, man. this is historic. And I'm gonna let you talk about this for a minute, Derek, man. But I think about when I think about HBCUs, man, I've watched a lot of great HBCU teams, man, in my lifetime. I have, man. I've watched, you know, the Eddie Robinson Grambling led teams that come to mind, man. Jake Gaither down at Florida A&M in Tallahassee, man. I've watched, Tuskegee in the SIAC. Here in the state of Georgia, man, we want to talk about HBCUs and dominance, man. We can talk about Albany State. We can talk about Fort Valley State. We can talk about, Clark Atlanta. Just great HBCU programs that we watched and great talent that come through these HBCUs, man. But this is big, man. At one point in time, as an African American player in this country, that's where you had to go through, man. Because a lot of these PWIs were not bringing in they would bring in a couple of token black athletes, but they weren't recruiting them as heavily as they do now. So now we get this 5-star young man to go and commit to Jackson State, Deion Sanders. Now, man, this is very historic and very significant, Derek Cole. You want to talk about this. Give me your thoughts on where we are now and how this will affect HBCUs moving forward, man.
I mean, it opens the door. Well, I say it opens a door that was kind of closed when the PWIs decided that, they needed some more talent on their side of the ball. When they saw how our players were playing with some grit, that's going to be a word for the day. So every time you hear the word grit, you might want to take a sip. Grit. You know what I'm saying? Because we are just built differently. I'm just sorry. So this decision by Travis Hunter, as you said, I'm a Florida State fan. I didn't lose my stuff like some Florida State fans did on Facebook, Twitter, all this good stuff. I mean, some of them just absolutely lost their ever loving mind. Like Travis Hunter was disloyal. His integrity is just not to be anything to be looked at because he shunned us at the last minute. He basically took us down the aisle for 2 or 3 years, saying that he was committed. And then when he got to the altar and looked at the groom in the face and said, "You know what? I think there's something I want to do for me, not for Florida State, but for me. So I want to change my commitment to a HBCU to let you guys know that HBCUs have talent, have had talent. Actually, some of the HBCU schools have more Hall of Famers than some of the big top 5 institutions that's out there. So, hold your horses, the Gottliebs of the world, talking about the dude made a wrong decision. How you going to tell somebody that's not your kid that he made a wrong decision about his future? That's his future. That's not your future. That's not my future. That's not nobody's future but his. So he made a choice. If you want to say it was because of NIL, fine, say that. That's cool if that's what you want to say. But like Jimbo Fisher said, this has been going on before NIL was legal, basically paying players. You'll hear the Keyshawn Johnsons of the world, kind of say it and then say it because they know that they were getting recruited and paid by boosters and whomever that they could get money from. He said it make sure that the mom was taken care of. If he had a dad in the house, a dad was taken care of. So miss me with this lullaby that now is wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's just different that you can't accept. Every time the bar is moved a little bit, you guys want to move the goalposts to make it seem like now because it's our players and the decision that they want to make and they have a little power now you want to move the goalposts. But no, that's not happening. So yeah, I applaud Travis Hunter for making that decision. I applaud for these other cats for making those decisions to go into HBCUs. And I hope it opens up the floodgate where more of our more talented kids start going to the HBCUs. And now let me put an asterisk there. If they do HBCUs, you got to step up your game and put money in your program and build up your facilities.
Hey man, whew, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. Definitely agree with you, man. It's a good look for HBCUs, man, for all HBCUs, and I will agree, man. That yeah, have to step it up, man, to get these kids to come in, man. But shout out to Travis Hunter for being a trailblazer and being able to go play for Dion out there at Jackson State. And like you said, maybe this open up a door for a lot of other kids, man, to go to these schools, man, and represent big. And just as we close the show out, man, so Jackson State was able to play in the Celebration Bowl against South Carolina State. One of the conversations that you and I had, man, was wanting to see some parity, right? We know Dion coaches at Jackson State, and we knew that he was going to bring a lot to that program, because he's Dion, right? He could bring a lot to that program. He can entice a lot of young men to come play there, man. And one of the things I said was, man, I want to see some parity. I don't want to just see this all about Jackson State, man. I want to see all these HBCUs get some love. And you're absolutely right about everybody stepping their game up, man. But everybody isn't Deion Sanders. So I want to make sure that there's some parity and there's some competitiveness in these other HBCUs. And just on the heels of me having that conversation with you, what happens in the Celebration Bowl, right? Jackson State plays South Carolina State, and what happens in the Celebration Bowl? South Carolina State showed up to that game, man, and said, you know what, man, we are a good football program as well, and they win the Celebration Bowl in big fashion, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was like 31-17. I had my stat sheet up, but I don't have it up right now. I don't know if you have it up. There, I do. I take it back out. So I do have it up right now. The score for that, well, actually, I don't. I thought I had it up, but I didn't. But South Carolina State wins big in the Celebration Bowl.
31-10.
31-10. 31-10, South Carolina State.
You know what that was? That's probably what you quoted earlier.
yeah, the Falcons game. So 31-10. Shout out to South Carolina State, MEAC champions. But Jackson State is going to come back, man. They're going to be a lot better. And I know that there are going to be a lot of kids right now looking at South Carolina State saying, hey, wow, they put together a group of guys that went out there and beat Jackson State. Because, I mean, let's face it, Jackson State has now become the benchmark with HBCUs. So like I said, man, hopefully we'll get some very, very good competition with these HBCUs moving forward, man. I'm here for it, man. I love to see it, and I want to see it. And we got to support these guys. Like you said, Derek, we got to support these young men, and we got to support these HBCUs as well. So if you went to a HBCU, support them, do whatever you can, man, push them, not only from an athletic standpoint, but from an academic standpoint as well, man, because they need a lot of support, man. They really, really do. These institutions were founded for a reason, and we want them to continue to thrive and continue to be beacons for people to go get education and to also play athletics. I know there was a conversation a while, and I don't want to get too far off topic, Derico, before we end the show, that were HBCUs still needed today? Are they still a necessity today? Because as we know, they were built and founded on the fact that Black people could not go and get higher education at PWIs. So these institutions were created for us, for Black people. And now that, quote unquote, we have a somewhat even playing field, we had an opportunity to go to these schools, a lot of people are saying, is it still necessary to have these HBCUs? And I say yes, because there is a rich tradition. There are a lot of households where you have generations of people that attended these institutions. So we want to keep these institutions around, and we want to have them academically up there with the other institutions and athletically up there with the other institutions, man. Derek Cole, I'm going to give it to you, man, before we close this thing out, man.
Yeah, you just mentioned something, and unless I missed it, I don't recall anybody saying, or Harvard, Yale, Brown, Cornell, are those Princeton, are those schools still needed? I don't. I tell me if I missed that conversation, because I don't recall that conversation. I mean, those are the most prestigious schools supposedly in the United States, but I hadn't heard that. So maybe I missed it, but I ain't heard nobody say we need to close them down. So why do we need to close down our historically Black colleges and universities?
I don't know. That's a whole nother topic of conversation for another show, Derek. We running out of time, man. But maybe we can come back and we can visit that and we can talk about it a little bit more in depth, man, when we get Banks back moving forward, man. So look, man, we're gonna close the show out, man, for 2021, man. It's been a great year, man. We've had a great run here, man, doing podcasts. Once again, want to give a shout out to my man Banks, man. he'll be back with us 2022. He was eager to get on the show tonight, man. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be ready, for you
Yeah,
when we get into
yeah,
2022.
thanks. I know you
So, man,
wanted this today, but we have to get you next year, okay?
so really, really quick, man. Tell everybody, Derrico, how they can find you, man, and how they can get up with you, man.
You can catch me on the Twitter at VSU 96SDD. Yeah. That's Twitter. You can catch me on IG at Derrico_Virgo. And if you're lucky enough to find me on Facebook, you can reach me at Stacy D Derrico on the Facebook. And yeah. Also, you can meet me at Banks House because me and him got some beef that we're gonna have to get off our chest before 2022. I'm gonna meet.
Oh,
Y'all
man.
Banks House. We're gonna be outside. I'm gonna have my red cup. He gonna have his red cup, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Banks, man. All right, so I might have to pull up. I need to see this. So yeah, man, you can always catch us, man, on Twitter, man. The Leo G Show, the #1. That's the Leo G Show, the #1 on Twitter. Also catch our Facebook page, the Leo G Show, man. Also catch us on YouTube. We doing it on YouTube, man. So follow us over there on YouTube and like and subscribe, man. We do this for fun. We do this as a hobby, man. But we definitely would love the support, man. And guys, take a listen to us, man. Give us an hour of your time, man. I'm pretty sure you'll be entertained. You won't go wrong, man. Also, you can catch me on my personal Twitter account, man. It's at Southern Set with 2 T's. Catch us at Southern Set with 2 T's, man. And we're gonna keep doing it, man. So this is the last edition of the Leo G Show for 2021. Definitely be back for 2022. We'll see what's in the collection in 2022. We'll see what we found. We running out of wardrobe too, man. So we're gonna have to see. We might have to go get some more wardrobe for the YouTube channel for 2022. If y'all want to donate, man, we'll put the Cash App up, man, because we need some help around here.
Yeah,
For real. But look, man, it's been another edition of the Leo G Show. Derrico, man, I'm wishing you, of course, I'll talk to you between here and now, but for on the show, man, I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, man. We'll see each other again in 2022. Thank you for riding with me on the Leo G Show, brother.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody out there. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. All that.
Good
Hanukkah,
stuff.
Kwanzaa,
Yes.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, man. We're going to be out.